the committee, we are so fortunate to have a multi-generational approach to the civil rights work that we do. We have folks in our network that were on the front lines and behind the scenes coming through the civil rights movement of the 60s. We have so many people who have continued to collaborate and strategize and think critically about the law as a tool for justice, coming through the movements of the 70s, the 80s, and 90s. And here we are in 2016, and the challenges that our communities face with access to education, access to housing, access to employment, access to public benefits, the list goes on. But the network of lawyers needed to support and advocate on behalf of communities of color, communities of low income, immigrants, refugees, is all the more necessary.
The Lawyers Committee and its clients offer a valuable opportunity for law firms and corporations to get involved and make an impact on their local community and beyond. The work that we do here for direct service and impact work has statewide and national repercussions and really allows the opportunity for the volunteer attorneys who work with the Lawyers Committee and its clients to succeed and make change and represent clients who otherwise may not have legal representation.
Scot Fishman has been a real champion of the Legal Services for Entrepreneurs program. He's stepped up on so many levels to support our entrepreneurs and small businesses here in the Bay Area.
I decided to start a relationship with the organization when I joined Manatt a few years ago, because I realized that we weren't doing a lot of small business work, particularly in the Bay Area. I believe it's a critical piece of any pro bono program. Because you're dealing with individuals who are often on the brink of poverty and trying to get out of poverty by creating a business. So I thought it was an interesting mix with a lot of our lawyers in the Bay Area who happen to be transactional lawyers.
Scott, as the pro bono coordinator over at Manatt, has rallied the troops in more ways than one. When we have difficult cases to match, we can always count on Scott to get an attorney to take on the matter. And they do it just so graciously and with such excitement that it's made our clients really happy when they can get matched with a Manatt attorney.
In my opinion, the quest for civil rights and social justice has to include economic justice. For our lawyers to be able to fill that void is the very essence of what social justice is about, is being able to help individuals who are fighting to get out of poverty by doing what they know best, and that is serving consumers with goods and services that they have that they can offer to try to support their family and themselves. And if we can play that role, if we can just help them with a couple of hours of our time, bridge that gap, we need to be doing it. And our lawyers love doing it.
Jolie-Anne, Ansley, and Christopher Ye came through our Second Chance Legal Clinic, along with several other Duane Morris attorneys. While they were there, one of the clients they met with came in with an issue with a traffic court ticket that had accrued such high fines and fees that he couldn't pay them.
One of the reasons we were so pleased to actually take on this specific matter was that we had read the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights report and associated news reports on this ongoing problem of civil assessments and traffic fines, suspending people's driver's license, and then an inability of poor people to pay these fines and assessments, keeping them locked in a cycle of poverty, which we had sort of firsthand experience with this client. What really surprised Chris and I was that it was these little barriers that were blocking people's civil rights. What we could negotiate with some ease and some persistence would stop a normal person and perhaps impair their ability to turn their life around.
An estimated 1 in 3 Californians have a criminal conviction. We can't reach that many people and make those changes without the support and help of our pro bono counsel.
We're giving Nadia the Father Cuchulain Award because she is one of our most dedicated asylum volunteers. She has taken on some of the more difficult cases that we have, and she is also happy to take cases of clients that live in sort of remote areas that can sometimes be difficult to find representation for. More importantly, Nadia has been successful. She knows what she's doing with these cases. Nadia has also been willing to act as mentor for other attorneys coming up. And so she's just been a wonderful resource for us and a wonderful attorney for our clients.
A lot of my practice is in asylum. I just feel like I can contribute to that. So I take on cases that I see are complicated, but there's nothing that doesn't have a solution, the way I look at it.
Not only does she have staff that can speak Spanish, that can serve as a cultural and linguistic bridge with the clients, she's also bilingual herself.
It allows me to represent them better and be a better advocate for them. I was an asylee myself, so I was in that position at some point in my life, and it changed my life. And if I can change one person's life, I've accomplished what I was looking for.
Our mission to help refugees is one that we couldn't do without the pro bono attorneys who volunteer for our program. And so I'd like to call to them to come volunteer for a case and change a refugee's life.
Every attorney should at least do 3 or 4 cases of pro bono a year, at least, because it just, it makes the society as a whole better, and that's why we're in law, you know, is to better people's lives.
The Lawyers Committee is presenting the Anthony F. Logan Award to Dr. Emmett Carson and the Silicon Valley Community Foundation. Dr. Emmett Carson led his team at the Silicon Valley Community Foundation to pursue statewide reform in order to ensure that students across the state have equal access, particularly to mathematics classes, because students who are unjustifiably tracked into low-level mathematics courses frankly have their life opportunities negatively and significantly impacted.
We were hosting a convening of donors that were talking about the school achievement gap and how kids of color had this gap. We learned that 8th graders were being required to repeat classes that they had passed in 8th grade in 9th grade, even though they had succeeded in the exams. We wanted to say to districts across the state, school districts, that this is illegal. It's illegal by state law, it's illegal by national federal law, that there's documented case history. It was essential that we had the Lawyers Committee as a partner. They have been engaged in legislation. They know the law, the case law around equity. They know the state law. They were able to get cooperating partners.
Last fall, the Community Foundation, with Dr. Emmett Carson's leadership, led an effort to pass SB 359, which is the California Mathematics Placement Act of 2015. That act now requires that school districts across the state of California have fair, objective, and transparent placement standards in order to ensure that students have equal access to mathematics.
One of the lessons I would take away is that when you hear someone say something that doesn't quite ring true, take the extra couple of steps to learn about it, tease it out, because there may be something big underneath that is in plain sight. And so this was hidden in plain sight. It just took somebody who's a little curious to uncover it.
We want to be at the forefront of the new civil rights movement. This is the civil rights movement of the future. And that means that we are going to be engaged in the fight for public spaces, that the color of your skin in a public space shouldn't determine whether you get attacked or cited or arrested by the police. In this new role as legal director, I'm going to need the support of the folks in this room, not just to
staff our cases, which you're doing, not just to increase the opportunity that we have to make an impact in the community, which so many of you have worked on, but to think through the strategy in the biggest impact litigation cases that we're taking on, to partner with the Lawyers Committee to make real the promise of equality that we learn as lawyers and don't always actualize. I'm so looking forward to working with you to bring up the reputations of your firms and the reputation of Lawyers Committee and create new possibility for the communities that we work in and who are part of who we are.